Okay, so this video is going to be a bit different than the others. Sorry if I'm speaking a bit quiet. It is currently 5:28 in the morning. It's about to be 5:28 in the morning. Yeah, I know. It's so dumb. I'm gonna get in so much trouble if someone hears me, bro. I couldn't sleep, and I randomly was thinking of a story from a long time ago that still haunts me. And I decided, why not? Let's do a story time video, and I'm gonna share a story I had in elementary school. The Library Crush. Before we hop into this, if you guys enjoy today's storytime video, just tell me, and maybe I'll do more storytime videos. Alright, we're gonna start with this black canvas. You're probably wondering, why is it not white? That's because, obviously I'm still a bit drowsy, so the color white really hurts my eyes, I'm not gonna lie. Let me just show you. It's like, oh my god, it's so bright. Oh my god, it's so bright. We're gonna use this as a coloring tool, alright? We're gonna size this down a bit. And there we go, so we can draw out this, right? So, here we go. Back in about 5th grade, I want to say 5th grade, I think. I was just a little lad, right? A little teeny lad. And, we had this thing where I think it was like every Fridays or something like that, we would go to a library. It would, the librarian would tell us a story. And so let me just draw the setup real quick. The mat right here. The mat was like right here. Yeah, and it was like, yeah, the mat was like right here, right? Bunch of library shelves over here. There was like board games and the VRs over here, but that was like farther down, like the room. The main area, there would be a chair right here. This is where the teacher would sit, right? So we're gonna use a. Actually, no, we're gonna change the color of that. Hold on, let me duplicate it real quick. We're gonna make the teacher like a yellow. Okay. Yeah. Here, hide the gray. Okay, so here's the thing. So the library, so they use the shelves right here where the books would be. The teacher would be right here, and so there was forgot the most main important part of the story. There was a counter right about here, right? And the door was right here. This is the door. Right here was the little door right here. So you'd walk in. You could go in the back and like go to other books, or you can walk straight forward and go to the little VR section, the board game section, or you can go to a little mat and like listen to a story from the librarian, right? But right here, this is this is the main area, okay? And this is where my quote library crush would be sitting. At the time, there was only I gotta make something else real quick. At this time, when I first walked in, she had a friend group of 3. She had friends, like I think she had 4 friends, but I can't remember the 4th. I just remember, I only remember like, cause this was a long time ago, bro. This was like years back. But I'm pretty sure, there was only 3, right? So at the time, there was her friends, only her friends. The red one, so the one was super tall. The other was pretty like medium sized and chunky, and then the quote crush was like my height, maybe a little taller. So the purple one would be the lengthy one. She was tall, right? Yo, imagine like somehow like coincidentally like she watches this video and like remembers me. So like, yo, I'm gonna be honest, bro. If you were watching this video and you recognize all of this, and you recognize like somehow you know exactly who I am, just listen to the whole story, okay? We had a pretty awkward time in elementary school. And then her friend was like medium sized. She was chunky, right? So the tall. It's the stupidest layout. So one friend was tall, right? One was tall. The other was chunky. I gotta sort these out a bit better. So at the time when I first was introduced to like the whole library thing, I would walk in, right? This is the orange one is me. So we're gonna make me a bit smaller here. There we go. So the orange one is me. So usually story time because we would walk in like this, right? We'd walk in, and usually I would say either here or here, like in the front or like in the back. In this case, I sat in the front, right? So I was in the front. Teacher would be telling a story, and then like the gray peg I was gonna use for like other students. Just imagine all these gray pegs spread out, right? So then, after I get my seat and crap like that, okay, guys, so remember there was a bunch of more gray pegs. There was like 10 of the students. So like these, by the way, I forgot to mention the friend group she had. They were all three of them. They were like the librarian assistants. Like they would like sort the books, make sure everything was in check, go through the cashier, and then like check the VR, stuff like that. Like they were just the assistants, right? They would hang out and stuff like that. But I'll get to that later in the story. So the first time, actually hold on, I keep trolling this. Hold on, I forgot one important thing. Duplicate librarian. We gotta get the teacher up in here. The teacher will make like a dark blue. It was a her, by the way. It was a her. So my teacher, she would sit up here in a chair while we were the books were being read, right? So I'm gonna draw a chair real quick. Let me just yeah. So she would sit up here like another chair, right? I drew the chair onto the peg, but that's okay. Okay. Anyways, back to the story. So I would sit like either the front or the back. The teacher would sit up here. And then the librarian would sit here, read us the book, and then the two girls or whatever, the friend group, the women friend group, were back here. So after the first story, right, everything was fine. I was like, oh, sick, I want to do this more often. And so obviously I'd walk out along with the teacher and the rest of the students. Next day, pulls up, right? And out of nowhere, there is a new girl, right here. I'm gonna put her on top. There's a new girl right here. Hold on. Yeah, she was a bit taller than me. Like, this was like the length right here. She was a bit thicker and taller than me, but we were pretty much like the same. And I'm pretty sure, like, in the time I was in 5th grade, and these were like 7th graders. And so, like, these people were like 2 years like older than me. I remember thinking to that myself, thinking that like, what am I can't speak. I remember thinking to myself, like, oh my god, they're like just so much older than me. At the time, like, y'all know me for like curly hair, right? Like recently I've been doing webcam videos, and that's my hair being cut. Like usually I have pretty long, lengthy, curly hair, but like the webcam videos, I cut it recently, and they're not super washed. But like whenever I wash my hair and like do it well and grow it out, that crap is like fabulous, bro. Anyways, but the reason why I bring that up is because in elementary school, my mom would get me a button-up shirt, long jeans, like blue pants, and she would comb my hair, like to the side, to the right. And so I was just a goofy little kid with like a little backpack, a sippy cup, blue pants, and a combed over hair. Like my hair was combed to the right with like a fade on the side, like on both sides. I remember I told my mom after like after like 6th grade, because after 6th grade COVID started, and then like I haven't gone to school ever since. But after 6th grade, I remember telling my mom, I was like, yo, mom, I'm gonna be honest, I don't like that hair, bro. Like compared to like the girls over here, like they were pretty fly, I'm not gonna lie. They were decked out. They had like the black sweaters, like done hair, like their hair was done. They had like some not baggy pants. They were more of like actual blue jeans or pants, whatever. And they would wear like some whatever shirt they like a cool like shirt with a logo on it or something, right? Like obviously, it's same with some of my other students, but me, like, I had a pretty like fancy mom. I still have a fancy mom, so I was pretty decked out. So like I when I was like going to school, I thought it was good, but now that I think about it, like it just wasn't good. But I was not fly. I was not fly at all. The reason why I bring that up is because like I think about it now. I was so puny. Like I was just so dorky. So okay, anyways, so one day I walk in. Right, I'm walking down. I get in my spot, and I notice there's a new girl here. At first, I'm like, oh, she must be new. But then, like, she's like talking to her other friends, right? Like, her other friends are interacting, they're laughing and stuff like that, and they're whispering and like stuff like that. So like, oh, they're friends. So no, she's not new. She's obviously been here for a while, because there's no way these two were recruited and out of nowhere this random girl pops up and they're like best friends immediately. No, like they were obviously they obviously knew each other. She was not new. She must have been like sick or something the other Friday. Right. Anyways, so I'm gonna make a duplicate peg. Put it over here, and this one's gonna be a bit bigger. Now this over here was my best friend. So back then, I had a best friend. His name was Chris. Chris was the homie. I think the friend group was like Vincent, Edison, and Chris. Like those three names were like one of my best friends throughout all of elementary school. But unfortunately, since COVID started, I've never seen them again. Like I would talk to them almost every single day. COVID started, never talked to any of them ever again. unfortunately. I had some people, like some of my students on the PS4, but my PS4 got like hacked, and I was never able to talk to any of them again, so I had to start like a whole new life on PC, and that's when I was getting into YouTube. But anyways, best friend Chris. Chris, we're gonna make you green. So Chris, he's not important now, but he gets important later on in the story. He's like he goes crazy later on in the story, right? So I don't know where he sits. I never really paid attention. He sits usually on like a side, I think. Anyways, just let you know that's one of my best friends, one of my best friends, Chris. Right. Anyways, so we're reading a story, and out of nowhere, like I disconnected from the story, and I'm just staring at the friend group over here. Like I'm just like eyes locked on to these three over here, right? Like I was just like because at first I was confused on who the new girl was, and I was just like kind of like just like eavesdropping, just like wondering what was going on over there. And then out of nowhere, like I mean out of nowhere, out of the blue, she turns around. The main girl we're talking about turns around and makes direct eye contact with me. Like I mean, like we stared each other down. Like we stared into each other's brains. Like we went into each other's souls. Like, I don't know what it was. It was a weird connection we made. Like as soon as we looked over at each other, we just locked eyes immediately, and we're just like it's like we like staring into each other's souls. So I remember I looked like from look here, I looked back immediately and looked down. Okay, I looked down like so fast. I've never looked down so quick in my life. So I looked down as fast as I possibly could. Waited 7 seconds and looked back up, and what do you know? She is still staring at me. Like she is still making direct eye contact with me. So I look back down. I'm like, what the hell, man? Like I just like you know, like when you stare at like a random person in public so many times and it gets like super embarrassing and awkward. Just imagine that, but 10 times worse. I made direct eye contact with this girl like several times, bro. Like it was crazy. But anyways, after I look back down, like after like I look at her 7 seconds later, like I look at her, look down immediately, 7 seconds later, look back at her, and she's still looking at me. So I look down again, and then I'm like, okay, I gotta stop looking in a direction. So I look back at the teacher, and in the corner of my little beady eyes, I see, yo, hold on, I just broke this. Anyways, okay, I see the whole friend group looking at me, the tall girl, her, and the chunky friend, all looking at me. They're like they look like I just like planted a bomb in the building. Like they're all three staring at me, and so when I look at them, I look at all of them. Like I go over all of them individually, like really quick, and then look back at the librarian. And so I'm thinking to myself, oh my god, what is happening? Like it may not sound so crazy, but like the way the pink girl looked at me, like the way the main girl looked at me for like 10 seconds, and out of nowhere, all three of them are just staring at me. I was bamboozled, bro. Like just remember, I was in 5th grade, so I was like freaking out. I'm not gonna lie. These three women, they were pretty pretty. I'm not gonna lie. They had a nice little touch to their faces, but I just remember like being so scared, like oh my god, bro, like what is happening? This is like only 30% of the story too. Like it gets crazy. So anyways, the story wraps up. I gotta find my character real quick. I gotta name these. Okay, hold on. So after the whole thing ended, I walk out, right? So I'm walking back out, and I remember when I walked out, my friend, where is he? So remember when I walked out, Chris was like right behind me, right? And so as we're going through the hallways, I remember telling him, I was like, yo, bro, you know those the three girls in like the main counter? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, dude, I don't know what it is, but like they the entire day they were locking eyes on me like crazy. And remember, it's not because I looked good or anything. I had the most dorkiest setup. Like I had the most dorky clothes. Like again, buttoned up shirt, comb to the right hair. I was in 5th grade, so I was smaller than them. And I had like the most basic pants on. Like I just wasn't fly whatsoever. So I honestly still, even to this day, I can't wrap my head around why they were staring at me the entire time. Like why they kept making eye contact with me like that. But I don't know. Anyways, the next Friday comes over, like blah blah blah. I ignore it, and it's like, oh, whatever. So we walk back in, right, and I sit right here. This time, It's only, I believe, it's only. Okay, I'm messing this up. It was only the tall girl and the main girl, right? And the reason why I'm calling them girl is because I don't remember their names. Like I don't even think like I feel like I learned their names, and then after a while, I just completely forgot about it because of how long it's been. So, just bear with me here. So, anyways, I gotta do this fast because like I don't want to make a 40-minute story. So it's only them two, and I'm like, okay, cool, I guess. Again, we're reading a story, staring at the librarian. Teacher sitting up here. She's being chilling, right? I'm like, okay, might as well. Look over. What do you know? She is staring at me again, straight into my eyes. I looked down as fast as I possibly could again, and at that point, I'm just heavy breathing. I'm like, bro, why? I look back up, and she's turned around. She's talking to her tall friend, and they're laughing. They're laughing about something, you know, like, okay, they're probably just joking around, right? They both look at me. They both look at me. They both look at me again, and I'm like, yo, like what? So I look back at the librarian. I'm like, at this point, I'm panicking, right? I'm just like, oh my god, like why is this happening? They're both looking at me, and I'm just like, yo. And so, anyways, long story short, it's the pattern repeating over and over again. They keep laughing, they keep staring at me, and I'm just like, my little self was super confused. So library ends. I walk out, right? And then I tell one of my female friends, I forgot to mention, we were right here, actually, no, that's later on, Anyways, good time, right? Next Friday pulls up, I walk in, stay in the same spot, and they're all three here again. Yeah, I think it was all three of them. There was one day where it was just her by herself, I don't remember too much of that day, so we're gonna leave that one out. I pull it back in here. And this time, I'm wearing a hoodie. Like, I'm like, hold on, let me just, like... So, I walk to the back this time. I go in the back. I'm like, screw all that noise. I'm going back here. So, I'm wearing a hoodie. I'm being my emo self back here. Right? And they're all three here. And the reason why I brought a hoodie, because it was on purpose. I brought a hoodie so I can cover myself. Because I remember, I've skipped so many Fridays, but... every single time I'd go to the library, these girls would just be staring at me every single time. And we would be locking eyes, and they would be laughing. Like, they would turn around and be laughing and look at me again, and I'm just like, I freaked out every single time. So on, like, the 5th Friday, I bring a hoodie, and I'm just like, I can't do this anymore, man. I'm just gonna avoid eye contact as much as possible and hide myself away in this hoodie. So I remember I'm just hiding, and I'm looking down. Never once did I look up at the counter or at the librarian, the teacher, my students. I was looking down at the mat the entire time. And I remember one of my friends, I believe, hold on, it was this one right here. I was sitting next to one of my female friends, and she goes, are you good? Like, what's wrong? Why are you, like, in a hoodie, like, not doing anything? And I remember telling her, I was like, yo, I'm gonna be honest, do you see those three girls up there? And she's like, yeah. And what about them? I was like, for like the past week, they've been staring at me, and I think they have a crush on me. Even though they're like 3 years older than me. They have like a crush on me or something, because they keep staring at me and laughing. And she goes, oh, that's weird. But she kind of ignored it, and she was like, oh, okay, that's kind of your problem. I didn't know this girl that well, and so, you know. So anyways, I tell her that, and I'm hiding in the hoodie. The whole class ends, and I just walk back out. I rush out into the line and walk out, right? So, no more hoodie. We're gonna get rid of the hoodie. So, now, a book fair pulls up, right? Hold on, let me do something real quick. Okay, so I gotta make this new frame. So, around, like, the first month, or so, right, a book fair came up. And I remember telling my mom, can I have, like, 10 bucks at the book fair? And she's like, yeah, go ahead, have fun. So, the door is right... Oh, okay, hold on. So the door is like right here, right? The door is right here. The 2 bookshelves are right here, right? This is like where the library. I think there was like 3, but we're gonna put in 2 just for now. And then there was like a shelf that went around like this. So there was books like lined up all across here, and there was just books all around here, books all on the side here, up here, up here. Yeah, you get the point, right? So I remember. All right, let me grab myself. All right. For now, I'm gonna grab myself, my buddy Chris, one student, and then what do you know? The girl. So today in the book fair, it was only her. Her friends weren't here, and I was like, thank God. So she was like working. So okay, I don't even think she was at the front counter. So she was over here at the front counter still. Just imagine like by the way, just imagine like a bunch of students around here. So like, let me duplicate this. So there's a student up here, and then there was like a student right here. There's a bunch of students everywhere. Right. So I remember me and Chris, we walk in, right? So we walk in, and we're like, all right, let's go find some books. So I remember at the time I was like, yeah, Chris was like, yeah, like what book are you looking for? And I was like, oh, I'm looking for like a Captain Underpants book or something like that. And so he's like, oh, okay, bet. So we're walking down here, we're walking across the aisles, right? And then we head up here, and then we head back over. No, we head up. Yeah, we both head up here. And then out of nowhere, the quote crush, the girl, she walks behind us like this, and I didn't even notice, but my friend Chris noticed. So she walks here, and she goes all the way up here, and so she's sorting books. I remember she was like working or something like that. Like she was sorting books, taking books out, replacing them, like counting money and crap like that, like right here, right? And so she was like right around here. So I remember walking up and not seeing her. I didn't see her at first. Like I walked up and I was like sitting right here. I didn't see her. And so I told Chris the whole situation beforehand, and so just like they didn't prepare for the fair. So he walks like for like the event, I mean, but he walks up and he steps in front of me. No, he doesn't go in front of me. Like he turns around and peeks the corner and sees her. She's like ignoring us, I think. I think she knew we were both right there, but she didn't want to make eye contact like I did. So I'm sitting there, I'm looking for my Captain Underpants book, right? And Chris out of nowhere pushes me, like he's dragging me down. He's like, go. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What's happening? What's going on? And I remember I looked up and I saw her. She was just sitting there. I was right next to her. I was like 5 feet, like I was literally like in kicking range. Like, I could have kicked her from where I was at. I didn't see her. And so I remember her being right there and turning around like in confusion. Like I'm not sure if she like, I don't know. But she turned around in confusion. And I remember seeing her. I was like, yo, I didn't even see her right there, bro. And so we head down. Like, I forget where we went. I think we went back over here. And, like, knowing our 5th grader selves, we were, like, talking about, like, yo, I didn't even see her, bro. Like, she has a crush on me, bro. Like, she keeps staring at me, bro. That was a close call. And I remember him just being like, bro, yeah, she was right there. I saved you. And for some reason, I lost memory for the rest of the day. I just remember that whole moment and just losing memory for the rest of the day, right? So here we go. This is where things pop off. Fast forward a couple weeks. This time it's my other friend. We're gonna make him Cyan. Now this was Edison. Remember I mentioned him earlier. This is Edison. He was a bit smaller than me, right? We were like the same height, but he wasn't too much taller. Like he wasn't the same height. He wasn't too much taller than me. It was me, Edison, and what do you know? The girl and her friend group. So I gotta draw off the scene real quick. What am I doing?
2 hours later.
Okay. So here's the scene, right? So me and Edison were sitting. So I have like back then I had a VIP access, right? So on recess, I didn't have to go to the playground. I was able to go in the VR area and the board game area and the library. And so I was like, you know what? Why not? Let's just pray that this girl is not here working the shift today. I mean, it's recess, so why would she be here, right? So I walk in. I take Edison with me. I'm like, yo, can I bring Edison with me? And the teacher was like, yeah, sure, for sure. So me and Edison come in here, and we're playing with blocks, right? We're children. Like we're playing like these magnetic blocks. So you can build towers and stuff like that. And so I remember we were doing a competition, like building towers and crap like that, right? So we were doing this. And I look up, and what do you know? Hold on, I gotta make this bigger. Hold on. Yeah, I didn't even explain the scene too. So the mat was right here. The VR was over here. There was a bunch of books and board games right here. The front desk was right here, and you guys already know what was over here. So we were playing with the little magnetic blocks right here. And I look up, and I saw all 3 of them on recess, freaking hanging out just like me and Edison. Like, they had VIP access, too. They were hanging out in the library just chilling. Like they were just talking, like they were just having a good time, like on their break, right? And I was like, oh my god, like I'm doomed. So I told Edison the whole, like as I look up and see them talking and crap like that, I told Edison, I was like, yo, I told him the whole story, like everything I told you guys, I told him, but like faster. So I look, yo, this story's bad crazy, bro. So I look up at all three of them. This time, like when I re-looked at them again, the girl was right here. She was a lot closer on the counter, and she's staring at me. And we hear like, and by the way, I know I said I skipped like several Fridays and several weeks and crap like that, but like as the weeks went on, we stared at each other for longer. We stared at each other deeply, and we gave each other like side eyes every single time we walked past each other. Like it was bad, and I remember every single time I made eye contact with her, I was like sweating. Like I was like, oh my god, like what do I do? Especially when all three of our friends were there, and they're all girls, all the same age, different heights and stuff like that. I was just like, I was panicking, bro. I was panicking. I was stressed. So she's right here this time, and I look up, and what do you know? She is looking at me again. She's looking at me, and I look back at Edison, and I was like, yo, Edison, she's doing it again, bro. She's staring at me. Edison looks over, and he was like bamboozled. He was like, yo, you're so right. She is. And so at that point, he believed me. I look back up. All three of them are looking at me again. The whole squad looking at me and Edison. And I remember feeling like such a child, because I was like, bro, I'm playing against Edison with these freaking blocks, trying to make a tower. As these girls are like 3 years older than me, dripped out, and they're just like doing work as I'm over here freaking combed over hair, buttoned up shirt, and playing blocks. Like I remember feeling like such a child. All three of them are looking at me, and so I'm panicking, right? Yo, you're not gonna believe what happened next, bro. This is where things pop off. So I don't know, I hear footsteps. I turn, like I look in the corner of my eye. The long girl's walking over to us, and at this point, I was like, oh my god! I was like, Edison, she's walking over. Her taller friend walks over, stands right above me, like right next to me. Like she taps my shoulder. She gives me a little tap on the shoulder, and I remember like I wanted to vomit. Like I wanted to like jump out the window. Like I wanted to throw up right there, because I was panicking so much. I was like, oh my god, just months of this friend group staring at me and like giving me side eyes. But I started panicking, bro. All that panic came back to me all in one moment. She taps my shoulder, and she asks me, hey, do you have a crush on my friend over there? Yo. Bro, let me tell you, when she said that, I was screaming in the inside. I was like, she did not just ask that. And so I was thinking, like, it took me 5 seconds to think of a response. Like, I was like, I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. Edison was just staring at me, like, watching me suffer. And as both her friends are looking at us, she's asking me this question. And I'm just like, what do I do, bro? Like, what do I say? I'm playing with these blocks over here, bro. like what do I do? And so I remember just, like, freaking out, looking at her, and going, yeah, no, I really don't. Like, I don't know why she keeps staring at me. It's creepy. And as I say that, she laughs, like, really, like, she holds in a really big laugh. Like, she goes, and then runs all the way back to tell them. And I was like, yo, bro, there's no way. And now, like, if that happened to me now at this age, like, at this mindset, I would have taken a whole different approach. Like, I would have stood up, went to go talk to them, or something, bro. Like, I would have done something. I'd have been like, oh, hell no, you did not just ask me that. She runs back, tells her friends, and Edison looks at me, and he's just laughing. He's smiling. He's like, yo, did that just happen, bro? And I was like, I don't even know what's happening. I remember him being bamboozled, too. So I look back up, and they're all laughing. Like, they're all giggling. Like, they're just, like, looking back at me. And I'm just like, dude, there is no way. Like, I hope you know, it's almost been 40 minutes already. But, like, this happened in the span of, like, 3 months. Like, every single day, I had to walk in this library, stare at her the entire day while sweating. And with her friends just laughing and looking back at me. Me and her like running away from each other, giggling every time we saw each other. Like it was crazy, bro. So they're telling their friends, and they're all laughing, and I'm just like, I cannot believe that happened. Like I just want to throw up. It cut to like a week later. I've been skipping the classes. Like I stopped going to the library ever since that moment happened. I stopped going to the library. I made excuses to go to the bathroom. I made excuses to go get my water. Like I just like I avoided going to the library at all costs, even during sessions. Like I'd walk in, I'd head back. And not to mention, I didn't do it right after this. I was already doing it originally, like after the first couple of weeks of this whole situation happening. But I started doing it way more often after this whole like encounter. And so pretty much after that whole thing, I started like skipping the class a lot more. And I remember going home, and my mom was like, "Hey, we need to talk." And so I was like, "Yo, what's up?" And so she sat me down, and she was like, "So I heard you've been like skipping classes and stuff like that. Like I heard you've been avoiding the library for some reason." And so I was like, you know what, screw it. So I gave her like a 5 minute like a 5 minute story what the whole like problem my whole problem was and like why I've been skipping the classes and stuff like that. And so she goes, okay, I'll tell the principal. And I remember being like, no, no, don't tell the principal because like I would want I feel like a snitch. Like I'd feel bad, and I feel like she would know I was the one who snitched. And so he was like, yeah. She was like, yeah, I'll just tell the principal about it and he'll do something about it. And I was like, no, no, don't like just like don't get her in trouble. Like just don't get her in trouble because like I'd feel bad. I was like, I don't like her or anything, but was like, yeah, I'd feel bad. Just don't get her in trouble. And she's like, yeah, yeah, I won't. Ever since then, never saw her again. She stopped going to the libraries. I think I ran to her a couple of times, but it was like in the hallways. Like it was like twice in the hallways. And it was I very rarely saw her. Like ever since my mom told the principal, like I didn't see her like at all. I don't know what happened. Like I don't know if she got like fired from like being the library assistant because of me, or like if she also just like stopped taking the library class because of that whole situation. I don't know, but that was the whole story. That was my secret elementary crush or whatever, the library crush story. I think about it almost every single night just for no reason. So I just wanted to share that just because it was 5 in the morning. It's now 6 in the morning, and I was pretty bored. So anyways, if you guys enjoyed today's story time, leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and click that bell. If you guys want more story times, let me know. Let me know, and maybe I'll do one. But anyways, talk to y'all later.